Hey guys, it's Wendy here with Wendy's Plans, and today I thought I'd bring you a little bit different video than what I normally do. So these are things I have learned about myself and others through this pandemic, and stay tuned. Okay guys, so I have made a list, as you can see, 2 pages of things that I have found out about me and others in this pandemic. A lot of it is talking with my friends at work, talking to my kids, and just things that in general that I have seen, and I will be referring back and forth to my list. Now, this is not just I miss getting this done or whatever. This is going to be kind of in a style of things that have come out of this that, it's a plus, and some things that it's a minus, and some things it's kind of like in between. So, this is only my list. Everybody has their own list, and I thought we'd share. So, for me, one of the biggest things is getting my nails done. Now, I need to check these off as we go. For me, I enjoy the process of getting my nails done. I think they look great when they are done. But the thing that I have learned through this is that I don't have to get my nails done. I just try to keep them trimmed short. They're okay. If I'm honest with you, I will not paint my nails because I can't do a good job when I put fingernail polish on. It looks like a first grader does it. I'm not good at that, and so for me, that's a bad thing. So I will bring you a video later this week that goes over the things that I have done without that I will go back to doing. And I'm not going to tell you which ones are going to be on that list. So that is a big one for me, is nails. And to follow suit with that is getting my hair done. When you're at a certain age and your hair is gray, missing getting your hair done, that is just, I just cannot even tell you. I look in the mirror and guys, you can see the gray, you can see it. And it's not just there. The part you can't see is when I pull it back, it covers a lot of the gray. But when you open it up and you're looking, it's like, oh my gosh. The thing about hair and nails is not getting them done. I save a lot of time. I get back a whole lot of time. I get back money in my pocket because I'm not spending it. And these things are things that can be expensive. But, guys, I'm not somebody that's going to cut my own hair. I'm not one that is going to color my own hair. So my hair looks bad. It needs to be cut. It needs to have a color. But I'm going to tell you something that I have discovered that could be an in-between. Some people have learned to cut their hair and have done amazing jobs of trimming their hair and making sure it looks good. Coloring their hair and it looks good. But there are some people out there who don't need to be doing this. I'm just saying. Professionals cut hair for a reason. Professionals color hair for a reason. I think it's great that we are exploring that side of ourselves, trying to find those additional things that we can do. Me, I know my limitations. I'm not going to cut my hair. I'm not going to color my hair. And I'm going to give an example. One of the guys that I work with at the hospital laughingly made the comment that you never ask your parents to help you cut your hair. And he took his hat off. He works in dietary. Love him. He is so sweet. Um, and his bangs were cut up to like right here. And as he laughingly said, I'll be wearing a hat until they grow back out. So my in-between things is things that we can kind of laugh at, if you haven't figured that out. Okay. So that is one thing that I really do miss. So, you know. The next thing is dinner out. The thing about dinner out is I'm saving a lot of money because I'm not going out to eat as much. Another plus for me, and this doesn't work for a lot of people, in our area, in our community, and I know in communities across the country, first responders, healthcare workers, teachers have all been getting free meals at places, getting discounts at places, and that is wonderful. It is wonderful for us. That does not help all the population across the United States, and I understand that, and I wish that there was some way that we could support all the people across the United States. I know restaurants can't do that. Your drive-thrus mostly. But for me, has been a plus. Now, I will tell you, even though it was a plus for me, because I am in healthcare, I have really not taken advantage of it. I mean, there have been a lot of chain restaurants that have offered, free meals and, different things. And I haven't taken advantage of it. That's on me. And I think part of that is that even though I'm in healthcare, I am administrative kind of position. I'm not a clinical person. So I'm not taking care of sick people. Is there a possibility I can come into someone that is sick, into contact with them? Absolutely. So for me, I don't feel like I am one of those people who are in contact every day. Is it scary walking in? Yes, it is, because I know it on any day. So I think for me, taking advantage of some of the things for healthcare and first responders and things like that, I feel like I don't really qualify, because I think I look at the ones that are physically taking care of those patients, the nurses and the doctors, and environmental services that are cleaning up the rooms, and take dietary that's taking the meals in, and your EMS workers. Those are the ones that I feel should be getting those things. And that's just me. But there are things out there. The things that I miss, or that I think is bad, is I do miss going to my favorite restaurants, and I do miss those favorite meals and the gathering that took place at those restaurants. So now the in-between, what I call in-between, and something that has come out of that, is that people have learned to cook. There are people out there that really did not know how to cook and didn't try to cook, and they've learned that they can cook, that they can do those things. Whether it's just throwing something in the microwave or actually physically cooking. Now, there are some people that have gone out and tried to figure out how to cook those meals that you were missing, and that is a plus. Some people got really good at it, and some people aren't. But I feel like that's kind of an in-between. It is something that we have done. So, dinner out, I miss it. Okay, number 4 This is something I was talking to my son and his girlfriend about, and things that we have noticed about shopping, our habits where shopping's concerned, and things we've learned to do. Okay, so my first thing is we have learned to use what we have. So, for example, if I have stickers for my journaling that I've been holding on to for a while and I haven't used them because they're really not my style, but I bought these stickers. So at one point they were my style. I'm using those now. I'm using those instead of going out and buying something. I feel like I need to conserve. I need to use what I have and only buy and use stuff new when I need to. The other thing that I have noticed too is I'm not impulse buying. Even when I go into the store with my shopping list, especially at the grocery store, when I go in with my shopping list, I buy what's on my list. And I'm not spending time just wandering around the store. Part of that is because I don't want to be exposed any longer than I need to be when I'm in the grocery store. So I think that's part of it. But for me, the other thing is there are things that I use all the time. And I noticed last night I have medication that I need. And I realized last night that I am extremely low. I don't get this low on my medications. And I think part of that is now I have to call it in and make arrangements to pick it up, and it takes a little bit longer to pick it up. And I think in the back of my mind, I'm so used to just being able to call and pick it up that I don't factor in those things. So I have a tendency to run out of things, and it's not just my medication. It's the stuff, the products that I use in my hair, or the products I use on my face, or favorite things that I use. So I have noticed that, and that is just, it could be a bad thing. It could be an in-between thing. It just depends on your list. The one thing that I have noticed, and I put this on the in-between list, and I will explain why it's on my in-between list. We tend to do, in my household, when I say we, I'm talking in my household, the people that live in my apartment. We are tending to do more online shopping and less local shopping. And I know when all of this is over, we'll go back to doing local shopping, but I know it does hurt our local economy because we are doing less local shopping. Now, let me preface that with, if I can curbside pick up, if I can tip at that location and get the things local, we are doing that. So that is a plus. That is a plus. And I am trying to remember that some of these employees that are working, especially in the tip industry, like my nose is itching, people that work in the food industry, they are losing a lot of hours, the wait staff and things. So when I go through, I try to tip a little bit more than what I normally do, and only because I feel like they're not getting as many hours. I could be wrong, I don't know, but that has been my tendency. So I'm just going to leave shopping at that. Okay, the next thing I have noticed is I'm not spending as much money on gas, and my kids are, I say my kids, my son and his girlfriend, my kids are not spending as much on gas. So my son was going to school one day a week, but that was he was going 2 days a week. So he was spending a lot of time going back and forth to school and having to come home. And then later in the day, he was driving in to work. So that has cut out some of that. So he's just driving into town to go to work. So his gas expense has been less. They are not visiting friends, so their expenses are less. I'm driving the same amount to work. However, I'm not making extra trips into town unless there's something that I especially need or something I'm going in specifically for. I'm not going in to just what I used to say window shop, just to get out of the house. That was my getting out of the house. So spending gas money has been a savings. The thing that I miss about saving that money on gas is I don't go home. I'm not going out to see friends, and for me that is a downfall, because I would like to be able to get out more to see friends and to see my family. So that leads us right into friends and family. Um, I have seen people, and I'm going to give you two examples of not being able to get out to see your friends, which is a bad thing. But the good thing is people have come up with way good suggestions or creative ways to see family and friends, and I thought I would just share that with you. I have a friend at work who, her name is Liz. I love my Liz. She has, they call it the happy hour on the weekend, and it's her group of friends, and they do Zoom. They get a glass of wine or whatever their preference is, and they catch up for the week. And so they're actually seeing each other. It's not just texting and phone calls. So they are catching up face to face, and that is a good thing. My other friend Jan, who lives in Canada, her and her sisters have a parking lot breakfast. So on the weekends, they each go through their drive-through of choice and get their breakfast, and then they go to a parking lot and they park 6 feet apart, and they stay in their vehicle. Two of them do have SUVs, so they can open up the rear and sit there and talk. The other sister just sits, stands outside her car and talks. They sit and eat with the windows rolled down or eat with their tailgate up, and then they just stand there and are able to talk for a little while. And I thought that was wonderful that they call it their parking lot breakfast. And I thought, I don't know that I would have thought about that, but I think that is a very interesting concept and a great concept. The one thing that I see as a downfall, and this is, for me, is to some extent, people that have anxiety and depression, I'm sure this is I can't say the word, but it is causing some issues. I call it being a hermit, and I have found that I tend to do that more. I go in my room, I sit down, I read, I listen to a book on tape, or I watch YouTube videos, or I kind of close myself off. I'm not spending as much time, even in my own apartment with my son and his girlfriend. It has a tendency with me to, again, hermit. I'm not getting out, even in my own apartment with my family. And so that has caused my anxiety. I have been able to tell that my anxiety is a little higher at night, and I have had difficulty sleeping. I have had just that feeling of anxiety, and I don't like that. And I have been trying to mentally manage that more. The other thing that has happened, and this is not necessarily about the pandemic, but this month has been harder on me because my husband passed in January, but this month was our anniversary and it was his birthday. And so it was a little more stressful for me, and that probably got my anxiety up a little bit also. But those are some of the things that go along with family. Um, okay, I just took a break because I was like, my nose is running and I was tearing up because I was thinking about my husband. So I don't want to put y'all through that. So the next thing that I find that is different is phone calls. The plus side to phone calls is I am spending more time making some phone calls that I normally would not make. Um, Extended family, checking on your family to make sure they're okay, your friends to make sure they're okay. I have a work friend who she is working from home, so I don't even get to see her. And she is in the same situation. She lost her husband 3 years ago, and she has nobody. There's nobody living with her. So we try to text each other, how are you doing, at least once a week, and just check on each other to say, I'm still here for you if you need me, if you need to call. Because if anybody has worked from home, you don't have the contact, you don't have anybody to talk to, and you start, if you don't have anybody to talk to, you start withdrawing into yourself. The time that I have worked from home, I had a spouse there, and he jokingly told me when he got home, he's like, I just got to get away from you because you have had nobody to talk to all day, and I need silence, because I would just follow around behind him and just talk. So you do miss that human contact. The other thing is I find myself texting a lot, and that can be an in-between thing. I'm going to put that in the in-between because sometimes you don't get the same message across or the same feelings across in a text that you do when you're talking. And I think sometimes things that we say can be misconstrued. So I'm trying not to text as much, but I really have found myself and I'm not a texter, guys. I went to the texting thing kicking and screaming. I did not want to text, but I have found myself doing that a lot more. But the biggest thing is the human contact, I think, with not being able to talk to somebody in person is missing that human contact. The next thing for me that I'm struggling with is I would like to travel, and I like to make my travel plans way out, so that I can get better deals and stuff. So a plus on that is I'm not spending any money to travel, so that money is in my pocket. And another plus is that flights right now are really cheap. Now on the other side of that is, even if I book a flight because they're cheap right now, when am I going to book it for? I have no idea, because I don't know how long this is going to go on, and I don't know when is a good time to book that flight for. We keep hearing rumors that in the fall this is going to come back, and at what point? So right now we're going into summer months, and I would love to be able to do some traveling, but we know it's not a good time to travel right now. So do I make a travel plans for the fall? Well, we're hearing in the fall and the winter it's coming back. So it's kind of hard. That's the thing right now that I'm dealing with is, I want to go up and visit my sister, and I want to plan this train trip that I've been wanting to do. But it's like hitting that magic spot of when's a good time to go when you're not putting yourself and others at risk. So that is one of the things with that. And with traveling, also, one of the cons is that for me, traveling is a mental break, and I'm not getting that either. And that for me is a hard thing too, is because I want to get that mental break and take that time away. And sometimes I just need to be, a week from work. But right now, I don't want to use my PTOs for staying at home for a week, because I don't know if down the line I'm going to need them because I'm sick. So this whole travel thing is, for me, is a mental thing. Now, I've got 2 more things, and that'll be a total of 10. So number 1 is going outside. That is a plus. People are beginning to get outside, and I don't mean going to the beach and having 100 people in a little bitty area space. That's not what I'm talking about. People are actually going out and getting fresh air, and we're not staying in our homes. We are going out and exercising and walking. We're finding new things to do outside. And one of those things my son and his girlfriend are doing is they've got a kite, and they go out and they fly the kite, and they have enjoyment. And it's enjoyment for others because other people like to sit out and watch them flying the kite also. If there is a downside to that, is that our weather has been crazy. I don't know anything else to say about it, but it's just been crazy. We've had more rain. We have had more wind, which is a plus for flying kites, not a plus for exercising and walking. And our temperatures have been cooler. Typically in the month of May, and I'm not complaining about the cooler weather, typically in the month of May, our temperatures start to rise. We start getting into the 80s, and sometimes we hit 90. We have a lot of sunshine typically, and it's just really nice weather in May. This year it has been windy, it has been cooler, and it has been rainy. So going outside has been limited. So you have the time to do it because there's nothing else to do, and the weather turns crazy. So, I miss going outside, and that's the plus to that is I hope when this is all over, because we're making these habits of going outside and doing more outside, is that we'll continue to do that. So, going outside. The last thing I want to touch base on is work and school. Now, I know there is a lot of people that don't have that option. They don't have the option of working. They don't have the option of working at home. And that is very difficult. And I fully understand that. But a good thing is that some people are being allowed to work from home. And that is a plus because you've got money coming in. A bad thing is people get to work from home. And by that, I mean they are not having that human contact. And some people need that. Some people their homes were not set up to work from home. They don't have that spot dedicated to be able to work from home. They don't have that desk area. They don't have that area in their home that is conducive to working. It's a lot of stress. When you're working from home, it's a lot of stress. Because you're trying to work around taking care of your family, because daycares are closed, schools are closed. So people are trying to work from home. They're trying to homeschool their children. They are trying to babysit their children when they should be working. And that's hard because they're having to work at all kinds of hours of day and night trying to get their work done. So it is difficult. The other thing is, with saying school is closed, is that kids are having to learn online. And for some people, the courses online is wonderful, and they sit down, they have adapted to it, and they're running with it, and they're doing excellent with that. And other kids are struggling a little bit with online courses. So I think it's a avenue that will probably be explored more. And I think when we get proficient in it and we have areas that we can develop it more and kids get used to it and are able to do it more, I think it will be a plus. And I think it is an avenue down the road that could work. Um, but I also think the stress on kids of trying to do online learning, some kids need that um, individual touch from a teacher. And I think that is difficult on some kids. And that increases their stress too. And we have to remember kids are under a lot more stress than we were when we were little. You know, I think, or maybe when we were younger, we didn't realize. I'm of the age where, yeah, we had bullies, but it wasn't like it is today. We didn't have online bullies. We didn't have, the bully at school, it was dealt with. Um, so I think there are a lot more stresses on kids, and I think online learning can be a stressor for some of the kids. And I think for some kids it is a blessing because they can learn at their own speed and they're moving forward more, and it's a way that they enjoy. So I think some of these things, which is why I'm saying for working from home is a plus and a minus. Homeschooling or working, doing school from home can be a plus and a minus. It's not a clear cut. And I think that's what we're finding with this pandemic is not everything is clear cut. What is a plus for some people is a minus for other people. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this little segment. I'm going to bring another segment of, yeah, I can save money, and yes, I learned to live without it, but things that I'm looking forward to going back to once this is all over with. And I don't know. Leave me comments below on some of the things that you have realized through this pandemic. Things that you have looked at and thought, oh, I can do it better this way, or I can do, or, what are some of the stressors, or what are some of the things that are a con for you? Leave me a note below, because I think we all have different things going on, and some of them are similar, and, some of them we're all in the same boat. So leave me comments below on what you think and how you feel. And guys, until next time, bye-bye.